At this week's announcement, Pence referenced the community of Connersville on more than one occasion. He used it as a good example of state and local agencies working together. It's been months since state and local leaders formed a multi-agency collaboration to fight back against the growing drug problem. And while there are signs things are getting better, many folks who live in Connersville say they're not sure the epidemic is under control or that the governor's new task force will help other communities facing the same issues with drug abuse. Sarah Whitmire has that part of the story.
If David Counselor looks defeated, it's because it's been a rough year.
Usually I'm an optimistic person, but I don't foresee things to get any better.
Counselor is the police chief. His job brings him face to face with the town's drug problem every day. But he says you won't find anyone in Connersville who doesn't know someone addicted to drugs.
I tell you, it wears on society, everybody. And we have family and friends out here on this stuff, and you know, it's just like what you got to do to wake these people up.
The problem isn't new, but it got really bad last fall. In a period of just 2 months, more than 36 people overdosed on heroin. Drug abuse was literally killing the community.
They got the eye of the governor, so the state's lead superintendent, Doug Carter, got with me and asked what we could do. So long story short, we put this task force together involving 7 agencies really, with the state and local government.
The task force is focused on getting the drug dealers off the streets. About 200 people have been arrested. If stopping the sellers is step 1, stopping the buyers is step 2. Fayette County Commission President Franklin Jackson says now that the law enforcement side is being addressed, the task force is shifting its focus and putting a lot of energy into community outreach, education, and helping people get off drugs.
As long as you have supply and demand, the law enforcement side of it addresses the supply part, but the education, the information, the buildup of self-esteem among individuals who have none and are more susceptible to drug use. I think that's the part that's like the needle exchange program and all its components. I think that's what that addresses.
The state health commissioner just granted Fayette County the authority to start a needle exchange program, but it faces some challenges. The most pressing issue right now, besides finding a location for the exchange, is getting the community on board.
Well, there's paraphernalia laws, and so some laws are going to have to be overlooked or repealed or something to do this. And like I said, it's like giving your daughter birth control pills. You know, well, is that condoning her to do that, or you're just protecting her well-being? So it's a double-edged sword with this. Is something similar.
They don't realize that it is a disease, that they are sick, and they need the compassion that they don't get. And I hear quite often just, well, why don't you just give them the heroin too? You're giving them the needles and everything else they need. Might as well, we're contributing to the problem and not trying to help alleviate it.
The exchanges have long been controversial, but the state amended its policy to allow them in emergency situations following the HIV outbreak in Scott County. Since the exchange started there, dozens of people have been referred to drug treatment programs.
Obviously, we don't know yet how effective we're going to be. We're going into this with the hope that we can help 100% of the people.
The state is continuing its involvement. Staff from the state health department are providing resources and making themselves available to help with the launch of the exchange program. But they're not providing any money. State funds can't be used for syringes, but they can help with some other services. Police Chief Counselor is grateful to have some dealers off the streets, but he's doubtful, even with help from the state, things are going to get any better in his community.
It's hard to protect people from themselves, and some people, when they get their mind made up, they're going to get off of it. Great, that's super. But others are not strong enough to do that, and so they stay on it until they die. That's basically it.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Sarah Whitmire.